Oh, no, the car's mint. It's perfect. Well, yes, it is mint, but not in the way you think. The infamous mint green GT3. Every car story has a, introduction, climax, conclusion, denouement, whatever you want to say. This mint green GT3 seems to just go from, one climax to the next and never have an ending to the story. Of course, Ed always says you have to have a conclusion. Well, I don't think the story of that car is ever going to end, but we're going to get as close as possible. But in order to begin, we have to begin at the beginning. The car was originally sold to the second owner, certified pre-owned, in South Bay, California. Now, that owner, I won't talk about him because it's an unfortunate situation with mental health and some controlled substances, and we don't want to make light of his struggles. But his antics with the car certainly did draw a lot of attention from a lot of people, and that's what we'll focus on. So he was known for just doing crazy burnouts in this 2018 GT3 in paint to sample mint green manual transmission, so much so that shortly after his purchase, it needed a clutch. So it went to a dealer to get the clutch installed. As soon as he picked it up from this clutch being installed, he went out and was doing donuts in the dealership's parking lot. Well, one of the sales managers at the time said, "Hey, you can't do this here." And he got real pissy with that guy and said some very unkind things that I won't repeat about the guy's mother and stuff like that. Turns out the person he was arguing with was a black belt in karate, but he never found that out. They called the cops on the guy. I think he got arrested. Shortly after that, the GT3 got repoed by Porsche Financial, and it was within like 3 months, so it's possible he never made a single payment on the car. In the interim, the car got sent to a shop, I think it was Wide Body Kings, for a wide body conversion, which was only partially finished at the time of repo. And the photos have been out on the internet for ages. They're on VINwiki. That's where I first found them. And the structure was cut. They cut the rocker panels and some structure underneath there. They cut into the fenders. It was a pretty bad deal. And when it was repoed, the carbon fiber bucket seats were not in the car, but an apartment's worth of clothing was. It looked like somebody had been living inside this car. So the car goes through auction and ends up in New Jersey. Now the details there get a little bit foggy, but it got repaired by somebody there, and I found that person and reached out to them, and they did not respond to any of my inquiries. They had it listed on eBay, I think it was circa 2019. You could infer that it was being sold by a Porsche dealer as Porsche certified pre-owned because it had Porsche South Bay's license plate insert and plate frame on it, who had sold it a while back, but was definitely not selling it on eBay. And it said that it was a CPO, which if he was a dealer, he technically can't say that because a pre-owned dealer reselling a CPO, Porsche will void the warranty. That's in their fine print. They don't always, but you definitely can't advertise it as, hey, this is CPO, because Porsche doesn't want independent dealers doing that. So there's some things that were not completely forthright about the listing. And of course, no mention about the paintwork or repairs were mentioned anywhere in the listing. It was just, paint to sample mint green GT3 Porsche CPO. So definitely a lot of details left out. I think it was in his hands for about a year. And then it was sold via Manheim, and a dealer down in Charlotte, North Carolina bought it through Manheim. And it's important, these details are important, that the CR was like a 2.4, which is terrible. That's out of 5, so that means, okay, something's really wrong with the car. Typically branded title ones are that low, or something with structural damage, and it had structural damage on the auto check. So it was announced as structural damage in this auction. Well, it pops up at this dealer. Again, no mention of the history. This is just a primo car, wonderful. And about this time, I was made aware of the car by a friend of mine, and in about 3 minutes of digging on the internet, VINwiki and a Google search of the VIN, I found these pictures of the car previously and found the auto check and all the other previous details. So I made a post about it and tagged the dealership who was selling it. And they got quite angry very quickly. They removed the car from their website, but not before Road and Track picked my post up and did a story about it. And they called me basically making veiled threats, legal action, whatever, threatening to, well, you wouldn't want to lose your Mannheim account, would you, for taking screenshots of the sale? I said, listen, I'm just posting what I found. It took me 3 minutes of due diligence to find this out. And they said, well, we buy thousands of cars. We don't have time to do this kind of homework on every car. We just buy them from auction. I was like, dude, I just Googled the VIN. Like, really not that hard. By the way, it was announced as structural damage at Mannheim. Like, you knew. So the car didn't show up again for a while. They own a rental company in Miami, so I kind of thought, well, it'll show up in their fleet. It didn't. It just disappeared for a while. Then it showed up at a Porsche Audi dealer in Florida. And they were supposedly unaware of the damage on the car as well, but I found out later when somebody contacted them, they sent me screenshots of their conversation to ask about the damage or inform them. They got a very defensive reply and seemed like that dealer was trying to cover it up as well. So then it transferred and it kept basically going dealer auction. It ended up at a Porsche dealer in St. Louis. And I know the people there. So I called them. I said, hey, do you know what you just bought? And they said, no, should we? I said, sent them over the pictures and they're like, oh my goodness, whoops. So they wholesaled it out quickly. I'll give them credit. They were the first dealer to actually do something about the knowledge that they had of this car. And then another dealer I know got the car. So I called him. I was like, do you know what you just bought? No, I didn't know anything. The dealer said it went through CPO inspection. I'm like, yeah, it went through CPO inspection, but it didn't get CPO'd for a reason because of the structural repairs. So he claimed that the Porsche dealer didn't tell him. And I'm like, yeah, I think better of them than that. But the car still ended up on his website. Again, with no mention of the history. So it's just dealer after dealer. Listen, I'm not the moral police of the car industry, despite what I may purport myself to be. Maybe I am the moral police. Anyway, self-appointed. But it is crazy to me, one, that none of these dealers did even the most basic amount of due diligence on this car before they spent $180,000. I mean, you can't know everything. Some stuff is truly hidden, but this information was out there for everybody. It was in VINwiki and it was findable on Google fairly easy. There were Facebook posts about this car. By this point, there was the Road and Track article. I mean, it was everywhere. If you just search mint green GT3, you would find it. But these dealers just still kept buying it over and over again and purportedly not knowing anything about it. So this dealer had it for a while. And then they couldn't sell it because every retail customer actually did their due diligence on it. So then they wholesaled it to a dealer in Boston. At this point, I think I had gotten bored of following this car from dealer to dealer because this was 3 years now of tracking this car. And I didn't know anything about where it went. And somebody messaged me again and sent me a screenshot of their conversation with this new dealer that had it, where the new dealer got all pissy about being called out for having this and oh, no, the car's mint. It's perfect. Well, yes, it is mint, but not in the way you think. So I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to drag another dealer's name through the mud without calling them first because I don't know this dealer. So I called them and I said, hey, obviously you know what you have. What are you doing about this? And they said, oh, yeah, well, we're going to totally repaint the car because back up. The repairs that were done on this car were terrible. Everybody that had seen it was like, man, there's overspray everywhere. I could see it in the pictures. It was a hack job repair by everybody who saw it. So they said, no, we're going to totally strip it down, do it right, repair it properly, and we're going to put it on P-Car Market, no reserve auction, and we're going to put the photos out there of the car prior to the repair. The photos that everybody's seen, we're not going to hide the history. I'm like, man, that's great. Nobody's done that yet. That's fantastic. And so I said, mind if I come out and do a couple videos on the car? Because I've been following this car for a while. This is interesting. I'm glad to see you're going to, show the car for what it really is and was. No problem. So I fly out to Boston and do a couple videos and I looked it over and it was better. There was still some some paint flaws there for sure, but it was a lot better than the previous pictures I had shown. So I did a couple videos, said, hey, look, they're finally telling the whole story about the car. Is it a bad story? Yes, but it's a fun story. And if you don't really care, if you want a car to just drive and own, and you want a paint to sample car, that you can park next to the guy with the other rare paint to sample car and say that yours is more special because of the bad story, then you got it. Ed quality paint to sample. So they ran it on P-Car Market, and that's where the fun began again. So the guy who had it in New Jersey that I had tried to reach out to that didn't respond years ago decided to insert himself into the auction. And he was calling the car out, basically saying it was worse than anybody even knew. He had pictures of the car being cut underneath, structural repairs being done. And, he just inserted all this drama into the P-Car Market auction. So I was like, hey man, where were you 3 years ago? I reached out to you about this car. You ignored me. And oh, by the way, where were you when you were selling the car 3 years ago? Because you represented it as a Porsche CPO car and said none of this. But now that somebody else's auction, you're being doubly shady because you're now trying to say that this car is the worst car ever and the repairs were Mako quality. He even did a video that he posted to YouTube with a Mako commercial spliced in with him dropping and jamming the gears, power shifting the car and stuff, to try to disparage this car that somebody else was selling, not realizing that anybody paying attention reflected poorly on him because he had all this information when he was selling it but chose not to disclose it. This car is just revealing everything bad about the car industry for everybody who touches it. So the auction went okay. It sold for, I think, $160K. A bunch of people asked for the DME report, which shows how many over revs the car has, which is the Porsche Bible, essentially. If you're buying a manual GT car, you have to have it. Well, the dealer who was selling it, who said they were going to be super transparent about it, said their computer didn't work on the car. A lot of people kind of called BS on that, but nobody had any proof. And the auction was just going sideways, and P-Car Market was deleting comments. The previous guy from New Jersey who fixed the car got banned from the platform and couldn't comment anymore. And it was just lack of transparency disaster in so many ways. I found out after the fact, about a month later, somebody sent me the DME screenshot showing over revs all the way into range 5 and 6, which is really, really bad. But even then I said, listen, anybody that's buying the car, who cares how bad the DME is? We all know the story. We all know everybody's abused it who's had it. We know the transmission's been replaced. You're not buying the car because it has a 0 over rev DME report. And I told the dealer that. I'm like, nobody's scared of the DME. Just post it. Oh, no, we haven't been able to get it. Well, that was a lie too. Turns out even the people who said they were being transparent weren't, because somebody sent me a DME report that was taken midway through the auction at the Porsche dealer that was around the corner from this independent dealer. So they took it to the Porsche dealer, got the DME report, didn't like it, lied about it, and didn't post it on the auction. Never fails. Well, the story doesn't end there. A dealer bought it on the P-Car Market auction. They then reran it yet again on Mannheim with the structural damage again disclosed on it. And it was bought, I watched the simulcast auction, I think it was sold for $165K on Mannheim, and it was bought by a dealer in Florida, Cario Motor Cars. Within 24 hours, they had the car up on their website, all photographed, paint sample, mint green GT3, of course, beautiful car. No mention of the damage, which, if their Google reviews are accurate, this is par for the course for them. Man, their reviews are worse than Spirit Airlines in their early days. They posted it on some Facebook groups. A bunch of people were posting photos of it and posting, hey, do you know the story about the car? People should be aware. Their comments were all getting deleted, and finally the post itself got deleted, and they sold it a couple days later to a local customer, and they did a video of how proud they were to be delivering it to this repeat customer who traded in his McLaren something or other, and there it lies. So it at least, I guess, finally found a non-dealer home, somebody who is blissfully ignorant of its past. And I guess if you don't know, it doesn't matter that much if you are enjoying the car. He may be introduced to a rude awakening when he goes to sell the car, if he sells it to anybody other than Cario Motor Cars, because everybody else on the planet by this point knows the story. But I think that is still not the end of the story of the mint green GT3, because it will come back up yet again and probably go from dealer to dealer to dealer to Mannheim to dealer to Mannheim to dealer, and everybody will play the fool all the way along. And of course, we all ask, well, why didn't Ed buy it? That sounds like a perfect car for Ed. Well, one, the title was too clean for him. It never got a branded title. And it was actually still under Porsche CPO warranty. Somehow they didn't catch it. I mean, it's like government red tape. It was repoed over here and had structural damage over here, but the CPO department never was wise to those facts. But Ed did try to buy it for Car Trek, but of course, Mr. Shrewd Negotiator thought it was worth more like 120, which I guess with all the stories out there, maybe that would be more accurate, but of course, nobody was willing to take that kind of a hit. They would rather hoodwink the next poor sap and try to recover as much as they could.
If you get a ticket, the first thing you should do is text a picture of it to 305-305. That will get the ticket clinic on your case immediately. You'll be facing costly fines, risks of suspension, possible jail time, points on your license, higher insurance premiums, and a lot of bad things that they can help you to avoid. You can also find them at the link in the description below, but the Ticket Clinic is a nationwide law firm with brick and mortar offices in Georgia, Florida, and California, but they've got attorneys everywhere, and that's what's most important, because a local attorney will know exactly how the local laws work, know the people who are in charge, and get you the best outcome possible. So text a picture of your ticket to 305-305 or click the link in the description below to fight your ticket with the Ticket Clinic.